Welcome to the Other Side Pod. I'm Nadine. We're not experts. We're just humans having a human experience we think you can learn from, or relate to, or laugh at, or cry over. So hit download, dive in, and hear how folks found themselves on the other side. Mother and sister. Hi.
Hi,
Hi.
daughter. Hi, daughter.
Hi, sister. Hi,
Since
mother.
we last recorded, some of us have gone on vacation. Actually, all three of us have.
All three of us have.
True,
Okay.
true.
Danielle, if you had to pick a highlight of your time in Italy, one highlight, give it.
One highlight. Oh my God. I think it would be the first night. So many highlights, but I will go with the first night.
Just one.
I know. I will go with the first night when we had a private driver in like a convertible Fiat, and he took us up what he called the Beverly Hills of Tuscany, and he stopped at like 4 different spots, like touristy, but like where tourists don't go. Almost like if it was here in St. John's, Newfoundland, it'd be like Cape Spear, Signal Hill. Like you just saw the sights and the sounds, and it was just magical. It almost looked like every now and then I would look at Martina and Deanne and be like, like, are we here? Like just shaking my head. Like it looked like a postcard. So it was just absolutely magical. Plus we had this like convertible bright yellow like car, and like this cute little like 30-year-old Italian like driving us around and telling us like where everything was. So it was magical. It just was a really good start to a fabulous like 2 weeks away, and kind of like in dreamland.
I know. And that's what I love about being somewhere else that you've kind of always seen or you've seen on Instagram or other people traveling there. And it's like when you get there and you look, it does feel like you're in a postcard. You're like, is this real? Am I actually here?
Yeah, and like I guess when you're on your phone, like social media, when you're scrolling, the algorithm picks up like where you are. Then you see, well, prior to, I guess, because we were researching Italy, like you get, videos and all that kind of stuff. And you're like, oh, I'm gonna be there. Like, I wonder will I see that? And we literally saw like everything you see on social media when it comes to like Florence or Sorrento or the Amalfi Coast to Capri, like, and then you get there, and I was just like, how is this even possible? Right? It was absolutely magical.
Love it.
It
Lorraine, what would you
sounds magical, sweetheart. Daddy used to always say, when John Cameron came here, why didn't he just turn the boat around and go down south somewhere so we could all be born down in the Caribbean somewhere or over in Europe?
No, but home is pretty. It's just the weather's hard.
Weather is horrid.
Lorraine, what's the
Yes.
highlight of your trip to London?
Oh, our trip to London, sweetheart. Oh my gosh.
One highlight.
One highlight. The little Airbnb that you had rented for us was this quaint little house, and it was called Casa Rosa,
Yeah.
which just means the pink house. And it was a quaint little pink house, but apparently it was one of the most popular places for tourists to come and line up out front from 7:30 in the morning till dusk every single day. And the fun part of it was we had the ground floor apartment with a great big bay window and these slatted blinds that we could see out through, and they couldn't see in because we positioned it just perfectly. And my favorite part was watching the kids, and most of them were kids. Some of them were, middle-aged and a little bit older. But just getting the social media pictures that they wanted, the perfect snapshot, that perfect pose, and they could be groups of 2, 3, sometimes 6 of them, and it didn't matter how many people were lined up to step on the steps behind them. They didn't care. They just stepped on the steps and they took their time. They took anywhere from 1 to 30 photos of each other.
Yeah.
They'd take off their glasses, they'd put on a hat, they'd roll their scarf, they'd take off their jackets, and then each one in the group would do exactly the same thing, and they'd pose and they'd pose and they'd turn and they'd turn. And I don't know how they ever chose a picture because they were all so young and beautiful anyway and vibrant that, it was wonderful to watch. But you're thinking, oh my God, so much time has been wasted on these steps just snapping where they are. And they could have just one little click and gone on, because at the end of the day, it's just a picture of them in front of this little pink colored stone house that to us was so unimpressive. But to them, it was the be all to end all. And I think the street was famous for that movie. What was the name of it, sweetheart? The
Notting Hill.
Notting Hill. And that's the area we're in, was Notting Hill. And apparently just down the road was that house with the blue door that
Yeah, the
supposedly,
bookstore. Oh yeah, where Hugh Grant lived.
where you read supposedly
Yeah.
lived in Notting Hill. So that was the draw for that area. But I don't think you knew it at the time that you booked it. You knew it was the area. But anyway, it was throngs and throngs of people. But the highlight was watching them taking pictures. And I used to say, I'm going to photobomb their pictures
Yeah.
and stick my hands to the thing. But I never did.
Did you ever do it? No, you never did it.
No, I never did.
Also, we'd be in there in our bras getting ready in front of the bay windows that had the good
Yeah.
light to
Yeah.
put your makeup on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, we're probably in a lot of background photos just in our bras, hanging
bras.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just open up the little slats, and I'm sure there's pictures with just those two eyes looking out, right?
Do you
That'd be
think they heard when the
hilarious.
fire alarm went off?
Oh, good Lord. Oh, what was your favorite memory of London, sweetheart?
I mean, when you nearly burnt the Airbnb down, one. But actually, what I really loved is Oh Mary, seeing that play. That was my favorite. It was such a good show. And Catherine, what's her name? Who starred in it? Who played Mary? Catherine.
I can't think of her last name, honey.
She was from The Office. I gotta Google it. Catherine Tate. Even getting into the theater, the atmosphere was so.
Yeah.
It was just fun. It was energetic. The show was so campy. Within the first 30 seconds, I heard you laugh out loud, and I laughed out loud, and then we just didn't stop. We literally cackled our whole way through it. It was. I would have gone to see the show the next night and the next night. It was so good. I loved that.
It was sad. Just the fact that it's live theater, and it was the audience. It was a small theater. It was very I guess it was over 100 years old, the theater itself, but it it was the coziness to it, and people were like wrapped around you, even though they weren't. And the laughter was so spontaneous, and it was all throughout. It was up at the balcony. It was to our right, to our left, behind, and in front. It was.
It was probably one of the most one of the most enjoyable shows I've seen, because it was such a joyous energy through the whole room, like you just said. But second to that, my lovely podcast people, is Lorraine Hogan nearly burnt down the Airbnb, which would have, number one, unhoused a number of people, including the woman that owned the Airbnb who lived downstairs from where we were staying. But there were 2 other floors of people that we nearly unhoused, including, I didn't even think of the people on the side because it was like a townhome. But
That's right, too.
imagine Casa Rosa no more. But you were ironing or trying to plug in an iron in the kitchen, and I was in the living room, and you just kept calling out. You were like, I can't get this to work. I can't get this to work. And in the UK, I find some of those electrical outlets, you have to turn them on. It's has this little flip switch. And I was like, come out here and I'll do it for you. You came out, we figured it out, and we quickly smelled smoke or a smell of burning. And I was like, Mom, what's that smell? And you said, it must be the iron, as you were ironing your shirt. And you were like, I'm going to do it quickly, so I'll get rid of the smell. But the smell kept growing and growing and growing. And finally, it was probably 10 minutes of you and I getting ready. We were about to leave, and it was just such a strong smell. I'm like, let's get out of here. Our clothes are going to stink. I can't believe that iron smells so bad. The iron was only plugged in for a few minutes. I can't believe neither of us bothered to check anywhere else in the flat. But all of a sudden the alarm went off, the fire alarm, and you and I turned our heads and looked down the hall, and there was smoke billowing from the kitchen. Lorraine Hogan had turned on the oven. No, turned on the stovetop, and there was like a rubber mat had been placed over the stovetop to make it look better, I guess. It had like a marble effect on it. And you had, while trying to plug in the iron, hit the the stovetop button, which turned on a burner. It had been on for 15 minutes, burning through this rubber mat. The rubber mat was burned onto the stovetop. Smoke was everywhere. It smelled so bad because it was burning rubber. And we had, like, imagine if we left, we would have burnt down Casa Rosa.
Oh my, yeah, it would have burnt
I
to the
still
ground.
to this day do not know how you did not recognize that.
Listen.
Mm.
We just were like getting ready. Mom said it was the iron. I believed her. Lorraine Hogan's generally right.
In our defense, the kitchen was down a hallway, you know, like probably, I don't know how many feet away.
7. Not very far.
And we were in the living room. This great big
There's a
open
door
area.
that's
And
open.
there's a
When we
door.
looked, we saw smoke. We just
And we
didn't
were-
turn our heads to the left.
We were just chatting and laughing and getting ready to go out and planning our day. And then when we turned around and we saw this, oh, Jesus.
Oh my gosh. The woman who owned it was so gracious. Like, we
She
wrote her
was.
right away. We were
Yeah.
mortified, obviously. We wanted to clean the stove, but Mom's like, it's a glass top stove. We're going to ruin it if we scratch it with something. And so we were like, this happened. We're so sorry. We had thrown the rubber mat into her backyard because it was still smoking.
Still smoldering. And to this day, I don't know how the other apartments never heard the smoke, the fire alarms, because they were just shrill. They were just going off
Yeah.
in the
They
kitchen,
probably
in
did.
the outside hallway. But nobody came like to say,
Are you
is there
okay?
anything? Are you okay?
Get the fuck out.
Take your
Okay.
clothes and be gone. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a highlight.
Dead.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my God. Yeah. dead.
By the time this podcast comes out, the 3 of us will be together and
Yes.
we'll be in Calgary with Stephen for Connor's grade 12 graduation.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I thought if we're chatting, I would
Mhm.
love to know what the 2 of you would say to a grade 12 graduate. Like, what is a piece of advice you would give them?
Shall you want to go first, sweetheart, or shall I go?
you go, mother.
What advice would I give to not necessarily my grandson, but any young man or woman graduating high school? To enjoy the next 5 to 7 years, if that's what it's going to take for you to get your education. Sit back, dig in, give it your utmost, give it your best effort. Don't be swayed if your mind changes at the beginning and the middle and towards the end. You're going to be scared. It's going to be a struggle, maybe financially for a lot of kids and academically for another swat of kids. But don't let it defeat your dreams and your goals. Just go for it and know that 10 years down the road, you can look back and you can say, hopefully, God damn it, that was all worth it. And also enjoy yourself while you're doing it, because the years will go by so quickly. And adults always say, you know, not just adults, but they say youth is wasted on the young, and it's so true. But know that when you look back on this time, you truly will say, God damn it, these were the best days and months and years of my life. And I had a good time. I hope you can look back on it and say, I had a good time and I did what I set out to do. And I'm proud of who I am today.
Danielle?
Such a hard question. Only because, I mean, I think I want to do it in like certain groups, but the first thing I'll say is get off your phones. Like, put your head up, eyes straight forward, start making eye contact with people. Like, live life intentionally away from social media, away from, just away from devices, whether it's gaming or computers, laptops. Because I think the cold war coming out these days, these are COVID kids. These are kids who have laptops and iPads in the classroom. And I think I'm going to say they lack a lot of interpersonal skills because of COVID, because of just society. I think they need to lift their heads up, work on your posture, and just eyes forward and dream big. I think there's a lot of categories of kids coming out of high school now. You got the affluent kids who are going to go right into university or college, and they're gonna just put their heads down and do the work, like Mom just said, and just go for gold. There's also a bunch of kids coming out nowadays that are completely and utterly lost, have had a real shitty time in high school because of whether it's bullying, because of, misdiagnosis, overdiagnosis, over medication, under medication. So I think there's that cohort that I just love for them to dream big, like believe in yourself, find somebody who can support you, whether it's formal support or informal support, whether it's, I don't know, somebody on your street or someone you come in contact with, or it could be, a long lost cousin or a long lost friend. Like just latch on to someone who believes in you and keep on dreaming. There's also kids these days that aren't graduating, that haven't gone through high school, so that have come out of school. Again, COVID really, I think we're never going to know the secondary losses of COVID for these kids. So there are kids that are not graduating with their cohort who are left behind or maybe have left due to a variety of reasons. And for those kids, like with the kids I work with nowadays, I say school's always going to be there. You might be able to finish your grade 12 this year or next year or the following year, but school is always there. Never give up hope that you're going to get your education, whether it's your GED, your ABE, your high school, whether you want to go to trades, your university, like school will always be there. It will never be too late to kind of go for that as like an aspiration. So I have like little groups of people that I would love to talk to. I get a lot of folks coming to me that are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s who had some great experiences, some really shitty experiences, and some with no experiences at all. So to each and every one of them, like, just keep dreaming, but head up and eyes forward.
Mm. I would say for me giving advice, number one, you have time because it just feels like you have to rush full speed ahead to do the thing. But you have time to do the thing and then change your mind and do something else, or fail at it and try something else, or take your time and take I don't know if they still call it a gap year or whatever, but like take time and come back to it. Um, it's hard, especially if all your friends are going into a program and you want to stay in kind of the same lane, even though like, one could be in a different university than you, but you want to be kind of at the same level. But after high school, everyone, it's okay. Everyone disperses. You're not always in the same doing the same things at the same time. You're going to meet someone at different times. If you choose to have children, you're going to do that at different times. You're going to have a job. Someone's going to love it. Someone's going to hate it. Someone's going to get promoted before you. Someone's going to get promoted after you. Like this idea that you're in this race with other people, it's a facade. It's false. It's made up. You have so much time. Oh, what a beautiful gift. Like going back to youth is wasted on the young. Because when you're like head down, full speed ahead, I gotta get to adulthood, and then all of a sudden you look up and you have a mortgage and responsibilities, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
my God, like if I could go back.
Yeah.
And I remember very clearly, not so much post high school, but post university, feeling this intense need to have it figured out immediately. Like I struggled with that so much. And if I could go back and talk to myself graduating university to say, like, there is time for that. You'll figure it out. Just start somewhere and you will figure it out. The path will unfold, you know? And even if it's not the right one, and that's my other advice would be just try something, anything, because the only way you'll figure out what you really want to do is by starting with something and then figuring out, do you like that? Don't you? Is the pieces of that you like that you can take to another role? You don't have to figure out like I want to be this person. I don't know, I'm just making up an occupation, but like I want to be an accountant. So I'm gonna do this degree and I'm gonna get hired this place, and you just never know where you're gonna end up. Can
And
I
if
also say create something?
Mhm.
Create something. The world needs art. Like create. Even if you think there's no part of you that's artistic, I don't know, create a recipe, like cook something one night, use your hands, try to draw something, try to paint something, try to write something, try to podcast. I don't know, create. The world needs that good creative energy and fuel.
Absolutely. It's not all about academics, honey. It's about
No.
appreciating the special things that are in our universe, And if we
Yeah.
don't have to create, there'll be nothing for people to view and to
Mhm.
participate in. For
And I
sure.
think or not we, but people stop or hold off on creating until they feel that they're ready. Like if you wait to write until you're a good writer, you will never write a
Mm.
sentence. If you wait to make something until you're really good at knitting or whatever in the world you're creating, pottery, you will never make it. The only way you're going to get really good at something is to fucking fail at it over and over and over again. And then one day you're like, I'm proud of this one,
Mhm,
just do it.
Mhm.
mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you don't take that first step on the path, wherever you think the path might lead, uh, you're not going to get to the middle or to three-quarters of the way or to the end. You just got to
Mhm.
start with that, that saying, start with one step. Just do it.
Do you have any um worries for this generation kind of coming out of high school?
Do I have any specific worries? I don't think so, honey. I think each generation, um, it's like a predetermined set of challenges that they're going to have, and they acclimate to it. It's as like Danielle mentioned very eloquently about the social media, how that has impacted their lives and will continue to impact their lives. But I think that over time, that generation will adjust to that and it'll become the norm. And God knows what the next generation will have to face. But I think each of us, struggles with different things, be it, economical and it's mostly economical too for students that are going through. But we seem to always be able to get through it. We seem to be always able to get to the next step. We don't know how. It's with a lot of help, as Danielle alluded to as well. Find somebody that supports you, whether it's emotionally, financially, or whatever. But that's what helps us get through each generation. Support, lots of supports.
I don't know, I
But
just think of how expensive it is to live. Oh my God, how are these kids, not kids now, they're adults graduating high school? Like, how are they going to afford homes and cars and pay the bills? But you think every generation, it's all, what's the word I'm looking for? It's
it's all
all
relevant.
All
relevant. Yeah.
relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think like Mom said, every generation has their challenges and barriers, but there's also, I guess, growth in society and communities too. I mean, I do have a fear, and maybe it's because of the job I work in. I do have a fear of um this generation, and God love them, from the soft skills, like the communication skills, the problem solving, the brainstorming. We have such immediacy in our lives now. Like everything we get, like if we want a question, if we have a question, like back in the day, we'd have to go. Remember the bookshelf we had with all the encyclopedias, and you'd be trying to find like the letter to like pick out the encyclopedia and like look it up.
Yeah.
But now we all have phones, so there's never a question unanswered. There's never a fact that can be unfound, and it's immediate. Like if you there's texting, there's messaging. I don't even know there's so many different platforms now that kids
Mhm.
use that I'm not even familiar with. But yeah, it's like I would love for this generation to be able to be okay with being bored and to be able just to sit back and be in their own minds. Um, but then again, on the other side, like they're so technically advanced, more
Yeah.
so than us,
Mhm.
like coding and like just you talk about creativity, like the digital world is just fascinates me. So there's pros and cons to everything. And I wouldn't even be able to
Yeah.
tell you like what our roles were back then. Like I don't know what our challenges were, because I can't even remember like our generation. I don't even know. So, Mom, you've been through our generation now, like Connor and Ethan. So, do you notice differences, like say, in when we were graduating school, going into university or college versus like Ethan and Connor now, like in terms of
Look,
generational challenges?
not that I can think of, sweetheart, offhand. Well, and we all know about the drug
Mm,
situation that's on the go, and just the
yeah,
accessibility of such hardcore um, narcotics that are available.
yeah.
And the thing that scares me the most about that, because there were drugs on the go when you guys were in school, but you couldn't necessarily go down on your corner down by Grants
Mm,
and pick something up. But now you hardly got it. You don't even have to go to your door. You can order them online, which is scary. And the thought that just one mistake, one let me try it, or somebody coaxing you to try it, you could be addicted for life, because some of them have such a detrimental effect on their brains. That part really scares the bejesus out of me.
Yeah, or it
So
could have fentanyl in it, like laced with something
yeah,
that like you
yeah,
yeah,
could try it one time
yeah,
and die. Like
that's
yeah.
it.
that's terrifying.
That terrifies me for my
Yeah.
grandkids, especially, and all the young people that are navigating, because it's so accessible, and it's seems to be so normalized in movies and on the TVs and on social media. It's just you're bombarded with it. We can kind of My generation can kind of turn it off because we're way past that. You guys are kind of in the middle, but that younger generation, this is what they're seeing every
Mhm.
single day
Yeah.
of the week, every waking moment. And I don't think, I don't know, I shouldn't say they don't, but it's like they're not affected by it. It's like they're desensitized to the violence, to the addiction, to the harsh realities of what the drugs can do to them, because their brains, they just can't imagine it happening to them. It's like, we always say, there but for the grace of God go I, and it's true, but with them they don't even have that cautionary tale, because they're too young. So that really scares me. That really
Mhm.
scares me.
Also, what makes me really nervous is the loneliness epidemic.
Yeah.
To Danielle's point, with like the lack of social skills, whether that's again to Danielle's point based on COVID, or a lot of it is with social media and the fact that you were really cushioned. Your parents really did step in and do a lot for kids. Like when we moved on to our childhood home on our street, the first day, I remember going out. I was 6. I remember being like, I'm gonna go find some friends. And I went and knocked on every door. And when someone answered, I was like, anybody my age here? And that's how I met my like childhood best friends. Although, folks, I did say to mom as an adult, like, how did you let me do that? I was 6. My mom's like, we watched you, but you're probably on the patio having a little cigarette watching her, being like, look at her go, finding her buddies. But and that's how I found them. And then,
But
like we had to pick up the phone and call like the
yeah,
house phone to the family's line, and someone would pick up in the family and you'd ask for your friend. Like we were constantly on the phone chatting. We were constantly gathering together as groups.
Mm,
We were walking the streets, hanging out. And I'm sure there's a lot of children, kids, young adults doing
mhm,
that now, but there's a lot of really lonely kids that are connecting through a screen, and sometimes
yeah,
only a screen, and sometimes
mhm.
not even directly with another human, that they're like back and forth like we can see each other now. It's like through a gaming system. And
yeah,
I do think there's a way to connect that way. I keep in touch with people on social media. I feel like I've seen them, but like I know that it's not the same because I grew up mostly in like in-person contact with people and developing those social skills. So the idea that they could come out and there's this big, big, big mass of these beautiful young adults
mm,
in their homes, like not out on the streets, not out connecting with each other, that makes me sad for them. Because
yeah,
having that community support, having that connection, it's such a beautiful part of growing up, and like those
of
people
course,
who've
yeah,
known me since I was like a teenager and getting to still be friends with them in my late 40s. I'm like, the versions of me that they got to see and they got to like live and experience personally. Like, yeah, that makes me worried for the graduating
I
classes
think
for sure.
it is very, isolating. And because it's hard to meet people, as we get older, yeah, that just only adds to the loneliness, the isolation. And sometimes people do turn to games, and you can have virtual friends all over the world, which is fascinating because you can learn different languages, different cultures, but you still don't get that face-to-face like interaction that you do with knocking on someone's door or picking someone up or meeting, back in the day we used to meet at the mall on Saturdays. Like I'll get the bus in and go around Village Mall.
Best.
Right?
Get the metro
So,
bus into the mall. Oh,
yeah,
I used to miss the last pickup and have to call for a ride. Dad would be so mad.
right? Like, yeah, it's the innocence of play that we lose as adults, and
Yeah.
we have to figure out a way to get that back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I remember when I graduated high school, I just think I was saying this to somebody I worked with the other day, just sharing that we're going up to see Connor's graduation, whatever, and I was like, man, when I graduated high school, I thought I was the coolest shit of all time. And I was like, Mom and Dad are so stupid. And I'm so old. And I look at Connor, I'm like, oh my God. He, in my eyes, Connor, if you listen to this, like, I love you dearly, but you're a little baby. Oh my God, he's going into this world like, who's going to go with him to university the first day? Who's going to show him around? And I was like, great. No one took you to university that first day. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, it fascinates me looking at the 18-year-olds now, thinking I was once that young, like, let out into the world of like just so many opportunities. And I'm so privileged to have had those opportunities. I mean, did I go university and finish up in 4 years? Hey, no. It's like I remember the first semester, I knew nobody, even though like half of my class went to university. Like it was such a shell shock of like, where are my people? Because you're just in a classroom of like hundreds of nobodies. Like everybody was a nobody. You were just professors didn't care who you were if you came to class. Like you went from being coddled in high school to being a nobody. So that was a huge shock to me. And like coming from high school and being I mean, I think I was a good student. Like I got good grades and cocky as hell going to university and then figuring out like, oh shit, like I gotta do stuff. And it's not for everybody. It definitely is not for everybody.
No.
Yeah.
But
For
like
sure,
it
honey. For sure, it's
took
not.
me what, like I think it took me 8 years to get my undergrad because then I worked full time and went to
Yeah.
school.
Oh, you
Learn
would school
my,
part-time the
learn
whole
my
time.
lesson. Learn my lesson.
Yeah.
Mistakes were made, lessons were learned.
Lessons
That's
learned.
the other thing, right? Feel like make mistakes. And also like I hope your parents let you make mistakes
Yeah.
because Mom and I had this chat in London. I said, how did you let me quit university in second year and move to Ireland? Like I landed in Dublin with a friend I had just met that summer who I hardly knew. And I didn't have anywhere to sleep. Like we landed in the airport and I was like, where do we stay tonight? I just didn't think of it. And Mom's like, I'm like, why didn't you make sure I had a hotel or something to stay at? Mom's like, you wouldn't tell us anything. You were just like, it's fine. I got to figure it out. And you had to let me. I mean, I was an adult. It's not like you could have
Yeah.
controlled it, but
Yeah,
I also lived
exactly.
under your roof. So you probably could have been like, well, you're not coming back here. You could have definitely. But anyway, I hope you have a parent that lets you make those
Yeah.
mistakes. Like make sure you're safe. Like I had to call and check in, and you
Yeah.
wanted to have my address of where I was staying that night when I found somewhere to stay.
Blessington Street.
But yeah,
I
no, that's where I
remember.
found to live later. But
Oh, that's
yeah,
where you
gosh.
lived. Yeah.
But yeah, like I hope you make some mistakes and stay safe, but make mistakes. It's what it's for, like
That's what
this
your youth
idea
is for. Yeah.
of starting this life and almost like having it figured out right away. It's a waste of your time because it's not going to happen like that.
That's how you
Stop even
grow.
thinking
Yeah.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, some people
that's
it
how you
does. Like
grow.
if we think of Steven, like he knew, so our brother, like he was one out of three of us that was like, I'm going to be an engineer. And then he went and he did school as an engineer. And me and Nadine, like we
Yeah, but his
knew kind of
his personal life was different. Like
Oh,
You know, like
totally.
personally, like he didn't have it. I'm just saying, like your whole life, you don't have it all figured out. Like
Oh my
you
God,
stumble on it and you
100%.
try things and you get in relationships and you try
Yes.
jobs. But yeah,
But
professionally, he
from a
knew.
school
Yeah.
perspective, three of us did it differently.
Yeah.
But we all ended up
Yes.
finding
Yeah.
something that we love at the end of the day. That's my point, is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
gets there.
Totally.
Everyone gets there
Yeah.
by meandering, right? Like he he identified
Yeah.
engineering and he did it. Like he enjoyed it, thank God. Because he could have got in there and hated it. Like, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and then myself and you had our own experiences. And it just took us
Yeah.
to three of us to the path where we're all passionate about what we do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's a
Yeah.
good thing.
And the other part of
Over.
it is it's never too late to do something. Like even you could change your mind in your 40s, you could change your mind in your
Yes.
late 30s. Like just because you sign up and you start to work somewhere, it doesn't mean that that's where you have to retire at the end of the day, however retirement looks. But yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I say
Yeah.
life
I do
is.
also,
Was gonna say, like, it's lifelong learning. Like you can, schools and courses and webinars and workshops and books will always be there. You're never ever
mhm,
ever too old to learn and to learn something new. And
yeah.
never stop learning, because that too should be your life goal. It's like never think you're just gonna do one thing and be done. You always have to continuously like learn more and learn different.
Yeah,
Totally.
and learn just for the pleasure of learning
Yeah.
sometimes,
Yeah.
not for letters after your name, just to enjoy what's out there to absorb.
Yeah.
It just makes
Totally.
you a better person at the end of the
Yeah.
day, right? More
And
interesting. It keeps you curious, keeps you motivated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and also like aim to not be the smartest person in the room because if you're the smartest person in the room, you're likely not. You're just an idiot and you don't see anything.
Yeah.
But like surround yourself with people who are smarter than you because you will soak in so much, you know? Like
Mhm.
don't try to be the smartest person in the room.
And
Try to find
also,
rooms with people that are smarter than you, in a different industry than you, like find generational friends, like there's so much to Mom's point, there's so much to learn.
mhm. And
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
surround yourself with some dumber people so you could really feel really smart
Sometimes.
sometimes when you're feeling defeated.
Is that your
Really?
MO, Lorraine? Is that how? I'm gonna tell
Absolutely.
your
Yeah.
girlfriends. By the way, Lorraine thinks she's the smartest one in the
You
Dumber
have to
people.
balance, sweetheart.
I think we could
Find
just
some
say,
Sometimes you
like,
gotta beat yourself up.
yeah, maybe just meet all kinds of different people in different paths and from all kinds of walks of life. But like, get your head out of your phones
Yeah.
and like listen to people, but also be curious
Yeah.
about people. Don't just listen, be
Mhm.
curious, ask questions.
Yeah,
Yes.
when I was up in Calgary last week, now was Connor and I went out for a couple of hours by ourselves, which was really nice. He drove me around and took me over to the university, and we walked around in there just so I could imagine the space that he's going to be in the fall. So on the way over, I was asking him, I said, "Do you have?" And I knew very well what the answer was, but I said, "Do you have school dances? Did you have, in school?" He said, and he looked at me. No, he said, but and dances were such a socialization for
Yeah, I
us.
love to school
I
dance.
got a Reed Center
Yeah, and
dance.
the what? The
The
reach.
Reed Center
Yeah,
dances.
but I can't remember those. But anyway, he said no, they don't have dances, and I'm thinking,
Interesting.
wow, you don't know. I said you don't know what you've missed out on because it's such an initiation into life.
Yeah.
How you approach people and how you deal with rejection and how you feel when somebody says yes when you ask them to dance type thing. It just
Yeah.
like it's amazing, but it's just not part of what they do.
I
It's
know
it's really
why.
not.
Bring back a school dance. It's so lovely.
I know. I'm sure we
They have
even
them
had
here.
them
They have
well
them here.
uh, do if
Because
in schools.
yeah, because some of the girls I see
Oh,
posting like they're going to their first dances and stuff. Yeah. So it must depend on the
oh,
school
I had
district, maybe.
Cute.
yeah, I had no way of knowing, sweetheart. But anyway, their school doesn't have any, and I thought you missed out on a lot, kids. You
Yeah.
stow it on a lot.
Yeah,
And I don't
totally.
know if the universities have them anymore. They probably don't call them dances, but they used at the
No.
university used to have mixers, with
Oh
dances
yeah.
and
Oh, yeah, mixers.
yeah,
I'm sure they still
yeah,
have mixers. Like they'd have an engineering mixer, they'd have a business
yeah.
school
Yeah.
mixer. Yeah, I'm sure. God, I hope mixers are still a thing.
I would imagine. But
Oh, I
in
would
my day,
imagine.
it wasn't called a mixture. The university had dances, and it was just a very like there was no alcohol involved unless you had it out in the parking lot somewhere. But you went into the university in the gymnasiums, and it was like we used to call them sock hops. Music
Stop
would be
it.
playing. Yeah, you'd get and you dance in your socks because you were on the gym floor. If I
Oh,
remember
hilarious.
Wait, is
myself,
that why it's called a sock hop?
yes, a sock hop. That's what they called them. Well, I
Why
don't
didn't
know.
you have
That's why
shoes
they
on?
because it was a gymnasium, so you
Damn.
couldn't have your shoes on in the gymnasium floor because you'd mark up the floor. Anyway,
Oh,
myself and my girlfriend Chrissy used to go, and towards the end of the night, we'd say to ourselves, "Now you dance with this guy, and you dance with that guy, whatever," and see if you could hear keys rattling in the pocket. And that way, we knew we had a ride home at the end of the night. You wouldn't pick them for how good they looked, see if they had car keys in their pockets.
ah, she's all ours, folks. She's all ours.
She's
But that's
all
true.
Like a
ours.
strange man would drive you home?
Yeah, but God, men, there were guys our age. They were
Yeah.
16, 17 years of age, youngsters, right? And it was a softer, more gentle,
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
less scary times, I guess.
Yeah.
Not that bad things didn't happen back in the 60s because
Yeah.
they
They
did. They
did.
did. But we felt we felt quite safe and we were quite innocent at the time and
The
at 15 to
60s.
16 years of age. But anyway, that's what
I
we
mean,
did for fun.
well, the mixtures that we went to were all alcohol. There was no dancing. It was just
Yeah.
Oh
like
yeah.
Yeah.
alcohol.
Oh,
The
was it?
mixers I
No.
went to was like women drink for free.
Was it?
But
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, you wonder why,
oh
right?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
yeah. And
interesting.
ladies night 2 for 1, right?
Ladies'
And
Yeah.
nights. Yeah.
yeah, you know
Where
what
they
the reasoning for that
lined you
was,
up like
right?
cattle and got you
Yeah,
loaded.
yeah, exactly, honey.
Yeah.
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 Anyway, we weren't at that because we were only 15, 16 years of age. Weren't allowed to drink.
Yeah. We weren't drinking at
Right.
high
Different
school
ages.
dances.
No,
Yeah,
no, the
No.
mixers would have been MUN.
high school,
University.
university.
Yeah.
Yeah,
University.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
Oh
Yeah.
no, like
that's
the high
different
school
then.
and recenter dances were innocent, like boys
Oh
on one
my
Oh.
side,
God,
girls on
yes,
the other, and then
I
you'd be just
know, I
like
know.
moving
Yeah, yes,
back
So
and forth, back and
sweet.
forth. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my God. And they'd have the canteen open with like pop and
Chips,
chips. I
like
mean, it's
little chips.
adorable. It was so
Yeah,
innocent. God, I
yeah,
So
loved it.
innocent.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so
I thought, what a shame that, like I said, you missed out, buddy. You missed
I
out big
know.
time, right?
I know. I can't wait to see how he's feeling about graduating and going off to university. And yeah, I don't know. Are you going to impart any advice?
To my boy, to my little boy.
Yeah, like Connor
Uh,
specific.
I don't know, sweetheart. I'll have to wait till I get up there and see. I think he's a well-rounded young man. Socialization, I'm sure will come to him just like it's going to come to all of that generation. But yes, probably lacking in that again because they've been deprived of school dances and they're on the machines. They have a close knit group of friends that it's a tight group of friends and it's not hasn't spread out. But hopefully with university, not hopefully
He has
it
a
certainly
wider
will
net
expand.
because of soccer or football, whatever you call it. But I feel like he plays on teams that are outside the
Yeah.
school district. So
Mhm.
I do think he's got, because like you got to meet people somehow, right? Because he does have this
Yeah.
close
Yeah.
group in that school and it's a
Mhm.
smaller school. But
Yeah.
I do feel like through soccer, but I couldn't
Mm.
tell you.
And
But
plus he also has his license now, so he's able to
Yeah.
go to these places back and forth on his own. So
yeah,
he's making himself he's made to be independent because he has to get to and fro and he has to
yeah,
socialize when he's there, obviously. And he also referees the game, so that's another
yeah.
outlet for him as well, right? So all of
To
these
meet new
these are
people.
building blocks for him, right? Building
My
blocks.
one
And
suggestion, like Connor specific, would be go to classes because I think the temptation is to skip
Yeah.
classes.
yeah,
And I mean, it was the temptation for everybody in university, But, and I said this to my nephew here when he was going off to university a few years ago. He's graduating university now, but anyway,
Oh, wow.
I was like, he was like, it doesn't matter. Like the prof won't miss you. And I'm like, you are going to miss out if you don't go to
Yeah.
class. I know it's a room full, like to Danielle's point, of 200 strangers, but you're going to sit next to someone, or they're going to be a few rows ahead. And maybe it's not on the first day, but it could be like in the first month. At some point, you're going to sit next to someone that you might know for the rest of your life. You know, they might become your best friend or
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
partner, or I don't know. And like, go up and introduce yourself to the prof. I know that sounds insane. It's like, why I like people don't want to be like a kiss ass, but it's not even that. It's like, if you're really interested in the course, make yourself known that you're there. Your presence is welcomed for sure. And I mean, friends of mine are professors. They love a student who's like there and curious and wants to learn.
Yeah.
And you do stand out, even in a room of 200 people. But if you don't go to class, you're going to miss out on this beautiful experience in university, to have this expansion of your, obviously your brain. You're going to learn more,
Yeah.
but expansion socially. Just like soak that in. That
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
I know.
True.
like
True.
Connor
That, sweetheart.
specific.
You'll have to.
Well,
Danielle,
you'll have to-
anything for our precious boy?
our precious boy. Yeah, totally go to classes and go to the profs like open door hours. Like make sure they know your name. But also, you know what? Skip a class every now and then and do something fun. Like go hang out with your friends. You know, like I used to do in the tunnels. Go have a beer at like the local pub, or just be curious about the other aspects of the university life experience. Because those, you learn really valuable skills by doing those little like bad quote unquote stuff. But just enjoy to the fullest, because you never know what tomorrow brings.
and
Yeah.
also learning who might be the person that might have your back when you need it
totally.
down the road. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you all packed for our trip?
Are you fucking
Trip
kidding
up to
me?
Calgary?
I still have laundry done.
They'll say.
I'm half packed, but not.
You're half
Because
correct.
I know I'll be changing.
Uh,
I just looked at the weather forecast.
Why?
Doesn't look great.
Nadine told me yesterday not to look, but I had to look.
Don't.
So it's rain.
Well, first I
but it
told her
might
it
not.
doesn't look great. Don't look.
But I had to look. So I'm
It looks
rethinking.
better today, I thought. No?
Yeah, it's going to be
Couple days
warm.
look like it's, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. It
be
is what
great.
it is, what it is. And
Yeah.
we don't have to go
Be
outside if we
together.
don't have to. We don't want to. We'll be together. Yes.
We'll be together.
All right,
Yeah.
off you go. I'm going to go get some dinner. Did you both eat already?
If you go.
Off you. I did. Did you go?
I did
Did
too.
you eat? Ken?
I did. Say
Off you
thanks.
go, ladies. Thank
All
you
right,
for
love
being.
you. Thanks for
Love you.
podcasting.
Thank you. I wish I had 10 more of the three of you.
Oh, cute, Mom. All right,
Okay.
love you 3. Oh my God, 3.
3.
Love you
Love you.
both.
Love you both. Mwah, mwah.
I love you. I'll see you soon in person.
I know. I'm so excited.
Okay. Love ya. Bye.